Pokemon Day is about a week away and we are expecting some massive news. Let's break it down. Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka A-Drive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Day 2022, which takes place on February 27th. However, we are expecting an announcement a few days prior on the Friday before, which is the 25th. We've got a lot to cover in this video, so be sure to hit that like button down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, so you don't miss out on our epic Pokemon content. And I have a feeling that this Pokemon Day may have something to do with Pokemon Legends Arceus as we kind of dive into things. But I think it's important to look at the past few years of Pokemon Directs and Pokemon Day presentations to give us a little bit of an idea of what kind of things they typically do announce. So let's dive into Pokemon Day going all the way back to 2016. So back in 2016, that was the year on Pokemon Day where Pokemon Sun and Moon was officially announced, and they also announced the virtual console for Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green in some regions of the world. That was, of course, the Sun and Moon announcement in February on Pokemon Day. In 2017, they announced some things for the movies, and they announced some TCG stuff, and really nothing came of that. There was nothing big from a video game perspective. However, in June of 2017, they did announce Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So that was not announced on Pokemon Day, but rather months later in June. So I'm gonna kind of give you guys the full scope here. In 2018, they announced some Snapchat lenses. Does anyone use Snapchat anymore? They also announced some Pokemon Go stuff and some new merchandise, but they really didn't announce anything other than that. And Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was then announced on May 29th of 2018. So we see a few instances here. One instance of the main game being announced on Pokemon Day, two instances of it not being announced on Pokemon Day. In 2019, that was the big Pokemon Sword and Shield reveal. There was merchandise, some Funko Pop stuff, some TCG stuff, and obviously Sword and Shield came out in 2019 in the tail end of the year. So it seems as though these new generations so far have lined up quite nicely with the announcements on Pokemon Day. Then we jumped to 2020. They had some max rate battles from Mewtwo, the Zarude movies, some Pokemon Go Mewtwo starters, things like that. Pokemon Masters stuff, some merchandise stuff, but really nothing else. And of course, we obviously rolled with Sword and Shield for a while there. And then in 2021, last year, they had the 25-year anniversary music campaign with Post Malone. They did some Pokemon Snap in-depth stuff. We did Cafe Mix, Pokemon Go, Masters, and they gave us the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl trailer and the Pokemon Legends Arceus trailer and reveal trailer there. So obviously in 2020, we ended up getting the DLCs. 2021 was the year of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus announcement, almost a year in advance. And here we are setting the stage into 2022, where we ask ourselves, what kind of announcement are we gonna get for Pokemon Day? Now, obviously, this Pokemon Day announcement for 2022 is gonna be filled with all sorts of little kind of fluff stuff. I don't mean to like degrade it by saying that, but I'm sure most of us are hoping for a big game announcement or something like that. So there's gonna be stuff for some of the spin-off games. You might get some Pokemon Go stuff. You might get some Pokemon Masters stuff. There could be Pokemon Cafe Mix. I'd love to see a Pokemon Unite collaboration now. There's a new character rumored for the end of the month, a support character. Not rumored, confirmed. There's a support character coming out in February, as Aegislash just came out. So we are expecting a new character there. It's possible that they drop that on Pokemon Day or the Pokemon Direct announcement day. Couple things like that. But the real things that we're looking at here are two different pillars, right? The first one is Legends Arceus DLC, and the second one is Pokemon Generation 9. So let's talk about the DLC first. And before I go into the DLC, if you guys haven't done so yet, you can check out my awesome merch at teamshiny.com. Use code Arceus to get 15% off. We got some great designs, so don't miss out on these sweet t-shirts at teamshiny.com. Okay, so if you've been following kind of the full rundown of Pokemon Legends Arceus and the riddles and the rumors that have all taken place, Riddler Coup has been kind of the guy, right? Like, this guy has come out and leaked so much stuff. And again, if you haven't been following on the channel, that's fine. I'll sum it up for you. The guy leaked like everything, man. We knew about almost every new Pokemon. I think we knew about every Pokemon. We knew about Wardens. We knew about clothing items. I mean, we knew about everything from this guy. He really leaked everything. And he put out a post on January 27th saying DLC soon. And that's, you know, he says some other stuff there too. But he has hinted multiple times now for the DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus. So one would assume it's gonna happen, right? I mean, one would assume this guy has nailed everything at this point. that there is going to be a DLC, and I've talked about it on the channel. What is the timing for this DLC? Are they going to announce it on Pokemon Day? Because you would anticipate that there's a chance they announce something big on Pokemon Day. Is it the DLC? Now, the other thing to mention regarding the DLC and the timing of everything is the Riddler has also indicated and pointed out that April is an important period of time for Pokemon. Now, why is April an important period of time? We really don't know, right? And I've talked about this again in other videos, but he came out and said that April is the time to look for. That's when we're gonna get some information. And he gave us this hint, my only hint for April, and it's a picture of Looker and Palmer, 2 different characters. So what this could be is a DLC announcement on Pokemon Day, or the Pokemon Direct Day. Like I said, I'm expecting Friday. And they announced that the DLC is coming out in April. And then in April, they announced potential for Generation 9. Either way, all signs are indeed pointing to the DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus. What that DLC entails, I really don't know at this point, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get that announcement. Now, shifting gears to Generation 9, right? Because I think this is something that a lot of people are excited about. When we look at the trend of new generations in the Pokemon franchise, we see that every 3 years, they've been a new generation. From Pokemon X and Y, from 6 to 7, essentially, it was 3 years, which is to Sun and Moon. From Sun and Moon to, obviously, Sword and Shield was 3 years, and that's getting you from 7 to 8, and now 8 to 9. It's been 3 years, or it will be in the fall, from the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield 2019 to 2022. So there's a precedent set here where they've been releasing a new generation of Pokemon every 3 years, and it's very likely that we're gonna get a new generation this year at the end of the year. We know that Pokemon and Nintendo loves to target that Q4. Q4 timing is huge for them in terms of sales, in terms of just taking advantage of you know, the Christmas hype, the holiday season. It's huge for them to sell consoles. So if they're gonna actually release a new version of the Switch, I still am a believer that they wanted to release the Switch Pro. Due to chip shortages, they released the OLED. That's my theory. I can really see them aiming and targeting for that November timeline, which they seem to love so much, right? The week before Thanksgiving, essentially. They love that timeline so much. I really, like, I'll pull up a calendar right now and I'll just throw a dart at the wall, man, because I feel like it's legitimately the same every time, man. I feel like they aim for this all the time. So let's see, the 24th is Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna aim for the 18th, November 18th. Gen 9, like that's your prediction right there. I mean, you can mark it down. If there is gonna be a Gen 9, that's the date they're probably gonna aim for. And you might be like, well, it's too soon for a new gen. But again, the timeline indicates that they do new gens every 3 years. The competitive scene is still on Sword and Shield. There's no competitive in Legends Arceus. I don't anticipate that changing, right? There's no held items, no abilities. The agile battle styles, the strong style, not really conducive for competitive. A lot of reason to believe. The TCG obviously is gonna take a shift. There's a Pokemon Go set, there's some Legends Arceus stuff, but that's to some extent limited. So you would anticipate that they're gonna wanna shift the TCG with new Pokemon and stuff. Pokemon is this massive wheel that needs to keep turning, so they kinda have to keep going, right? So I think realistically, if I'm setting my expectations appropriately, I think it goes one of two ways. I do think we'll probably get a DLC announcement on Pokemon Day. I really do, or the 2 days prior. I do not think we're gonna get a Generation 9 announcement at this point. I think that they're probably gonna talk DLC first, and then they'll talk Gen 9, months down the road. Maybe that's what April is. Maybe April's when the DLC comes. I don't know. We've got a couple puzzle pieces from the Riddler that we need to put together, and there's a little bit of, uncertainty there. But the thing we do know is it's very, very likely that in the next few days, I would assume Tuesday or Wednesday next week, because Monday technically is a holiday in the US because of President's Day. Well, Sunday's the holiday, I'm pretty sure, but I'm expecting Tuesday or Wednesday next week that they announce that there's going to be a Pokemon Direct or a Pokemon Presents for Friday the 25th, and it'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, probably. And at that point is when they are going to do this announcement. It's probably going to be a 20, 30-minute presentation. They're going to break down everything that they have going on for Pokemon Day to celebrate, and they're going to potentially announce the DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus. We'll have to see how it all shakes down. Hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know your thoughts on everything going down for Pokemon Day and everything in between, as we are getting very, very close. Like I said, less than a week away. I'm very excited for this. I can't wait to see what's next for the Pokemon franchise. I would love a Generation 9 announcement. I just wouldn't be surprised if they announce it later on in the year, because you know what I mean? It's kind of cannibalistic in a way to announce your DLC and then announce the next gen. they're not super conflicting, but it could be a thing. I don't know. They did BDSP and Arceus at the same time, so who even knows anymore? I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts, and that's gonna be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by A-Drive, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.